I run all my numbers on a deal, and I run those numbers first because I not only want to give Cheryl a little bit of cash, I had to catch up her arrears, I had to close escrow, I had to hire an attorney, I had to cover EMD, and I also wanted to pay myself 15 grand up front. And so a gator brought me my $15,000 up front, and I got paid 15 grand to do this process. My gator also paid my top tier TCs. Literally every single thing was paid for by a gator. And so running my numbers and saying, hey, this is how much I need, I will show you that in the whiteboard video breakdown of all the numbers of a sub-2 deal transaction, okay? So in this transaction, here's what ends up happening. Yes, we have the contract. Yes, we've opened escrow, all of those types of things. What ends up happening is we have solved her pain, right? We've got rid of her foreclosure. We figured out how to get her the number she wants. Title and escrow have gone through and found these issues. My team has come through here and we've solved these issues. We hired an attorney. Then the title and escrow people say, okay, we're good now. We can transfer the deed ownership to you via subject to. Literally a subject to transaction is that simple. It is just the title and escrow company checking on the title report, clearing all issues, and then transferring the deed to my name. That's it. That's as simple as I can put it. The mortgage in the bank stays in the seller's name. Seller moves out. Seller moves on with their life and they go on with their life. The mortgage stays in their name. I now can put a tenant in that property and I can fill that up and I can cash flow. I made 15 grand up front. I have a deed in my name. I have full control and ownership of the property. I now get all the tax benefits. If the property goes up in value, I get all of that, right? All the ownership benefits are me. I own the property. So all of this stuff so far, every single one of my sub-2 students that are finding these deals will do all of that for you and then bring the deal to you so you can just put in your portfolio, or they can let you move in the house if you choose to do so, okay? So we then close escrow. Closing escrow means finalizing the transaction. It means the transaction is done. What happens is everybody gets their money. The money is distributed. I always, before the seller gets their money, I ask for a testimonial. I then sign final docs with the notary. I then get the utilities turned on. We get the contractor scheduled. We get the property manager, and then I get a nice, tasty check for $15,000. Now in this process, I want you to know I've brought in a gator to not only cover all of my costs and pay myself 15 grand, I also brought in enough money from the gator to cover my first 2 months of payments, my first 2 months of utilities, my first 2 months of landscape maintenance, all of that stuff. So I literally have a buffer that I don't have to worry about not getting a tenant in there right away. And I raise that money from a gator. I then structure the deal in a way that I bring in more money than what it costs me. Now, at the very end of this process, if you look up the county recorder's office, who is the owner of a subject to deal at the county recorder's office? The owner of this property is Pace, right? Pace is the owner of this property. And I'll give you a quick cheat code. Just go to startwithprime.com. That's the company that I use. They do all of my LLCs, my corporate structure, and tell them, can you give me a map of exactly what Pace is doing? And they'll give that to you. Startwithprime.com, and they'll help you get your LLC set up. Okay, cool. I feel like we've done a good job of this. Do you understand the process and the steps of how challenging a sub-2 deal can be? I'm telling you right now, if this is a traditional real estate transaction, there are so many more steps involved in a traditional real estate transaction. Subject to is the easiest real estate transaction you'll ever do on the planet. And the reason being is you don't have appraisers, you don't have inspectors, you don't have banks going in and like requiring you to give pay stubs, and you don't have any of those really challenging parts to a real estate transaction. This is actually pretty simple. It's the most simple way a transaction can be done, but it is the full process. Start of a lead to the day I make 15 grand, to the day I also get my tax benefits, my cash flow, and all of those types of things. Gosh, this makes me want to go out and get like 10 more deals this week. I can make 150 grand in 1 week by just buying 10 deals from sub-2 students and getting paid 15 grand up front, putting them in my portfolio, making $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $2,000 per month on each house. It's crazy.